Hello. It's been a bit since my last video. Wanted to give my computer a little bit of a time to cool off, hopefully not have as many issues anymore. And I also just really haven't been feeling like playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Since my only real ways are Omega and Master Duel. And Master Duel is, well, Master Duel, so it's not really fun. And Omega, when you go against the 60th Draco Tail list, it gets tiring. But today I decided, like, you know what, I've been really wanting to watch Genesys content, so why don't I try it? Because I saw there was an update for Omega, and lo and behold, when I checked, it finally has Genesys now. So cards now have point values. It's amazing. I don't have to use Dueling Book to figure out point values anymore. There are still cards that aren't pointed yet, just because they haven't been released. So, can't try a Genesys Dark Lord deck like I would like to, even though I don't think it would be that good in all honesty. But, work with what we got. I've seen a few Genesys lists that I know are good, like the Fire King deck that MBT made. I think that one's a nice list, but I wanted to try and make something for myself. So I think if I check my own in this, I want to see if I can see the deck that I played in my match I'm going to show you. Yes. So this was the list that I brought into the match you're going to show, and I'll just spoil it for you now. I lost. It is Shining Sarcophagus, and as I'm sure plenty of you know, this was a retrain archetype based around specifically Yugi Moto, not the Pharaoh, using Yugi's ace monsters, which, I mean, he kind of shared DM and DM Girl, but then Yugi's other aces were the Silent Magician, the Silent Swordsman, the Gadget Bros, and Gandora. There's also Summon Skull and Marshmallow. I just don't have these in the deck. But they're a very not good archetype. The ideal combo you set up is the fact that this card, Shining Sarcophagus, kind of does everything for you, but what it does is not much. It can be destroyed by monster effects, and once per turn you can just add any card that mentions Sarcophagus besides itself. And then it has a second effect that sometimes come up where you can discard a spell to send a monster that your opponent just special summoned from the grave back to the grave. It's a reference to I think one of the final plays in the original anime when Yugi beats Tem. Cool moment. So this deck is very confusing. So you've got Gadget Trio, who acts as your spell trap searcher, and then if he dies, he sets a really bad card that, if you're familiar with my Masochist run, I use a lot. The Stronghold, the Hidden Fortress. It is a continuous trap monster that summons itself as a level 4, and it can get big if you have a bunch of Shining Sarc monsters, and if you have the Sarcophagus, it's Sakuretsu armor, but still pretty bad. Then you've got Silent Swordsman, who, just like the OG Silent Swordsman during the standby phase, or I guess the OG retrain that you could summon from any warrior, increases his level during the standby phase. It's mandatory, by the way. And he gains attack equal to the increase in his, like the difference in his current level from his original times 500. So if he's level 7, that means he's 3 levels higher, so he's gaining 3 times 500, 15, he's at 25. And he has the effect that if your opponent activates a card or effect that targets the Sarcophagus or a monster that mentions it that you own, then you get to negate it, and then he goes up by 1 level. And Silent Magician 0 is just like the OG, like actual silent musician. She gets bigger every time your opponent draws cards. I really wish it was a like card for like each one. Which thankfully that's what this is. The original one is what I'm wishing was like for each drawn. But she gets bigger just like the other one, and then her effect is that if your opponent activates a spell card or effect, she just negates it and increases her level. The Gandora, you pay half your life, destroy the board. It won't destroy the sarcophagus though. And then you banish any card that you did destroy, and you summon a level 7 or lower Shining Sarc monster. So basically, any Shining Sarc monster that isn't him, you summon it straight from the deck. Now, what I believe you're supposed to do in a typical gameplay loop is, if you're going first, you Sarcophagus for Trio, or Trio for Sarcophagus, whichever one, and then use whichever one you didn't use to get the ties that bind, which, if you have a Shining Sarcophagus and a monster that mentions it on your field, you summon up to 2 level 4 or lower monsters from your hand or deck. So you can do it from your hand if you draw them, but they have to be Shining Sarc monsters. And you're locked out of the extra deck, which is whatever. You don't really want to turn these into extract guys if they are at least some form of interaction. Oh jeez, it's very late. So, and it's like, yeah, you just set this up and now you've got a spell negate and targeting negate, and that's about it. Some of the other cards they have is Future Silence. This is a Rhoda for the deck, and if you activate it during the battle phase, it forces both people to draw until they have 6. So that can be either the reason you lose or the reason you win. And then there's Turn Silence. I love this card because it reminds me so much of the Silent Swordsman card that I think is still limited in Duel Links for some reason. Silent Sword Slash, which this card targets a Silent Swordsman, gives him 1500 attack and defense, and makes it unaffected by opponent's card effects, and then you can banish it to add any Silent Swordsman monster. This card I thought was so cool as a kid, because I loved the silent cards when I was younger. I really wish they were better, but sadly they aren't. I'm so mad that they made Silent Paladin, and like, why does she have 500 attack? She should have had 1500 attack and 500 defense. And then honestly, like, her second effect of like a spell negate that targets one card, cool, dude. Like, man. And she just can't even summon them either. It's like one of the worst cards they've made as support that could have been so much better. But whatever. There's also Dark Magician, the Magician of Black Magic, who, if you have a Shining Sarc, you get to summon him, and then if he is destroyed, you get to, and you have a level 5 or higher on the field. I guess your opponent can have it too. Then you get to summon him back and set any spell trap from the deck that mentions Dark Magician. Now, what I always assumed you were supposed to do was like blow up the board and then use this to summon this, but number one, it increases his level, which does nothing for him. But then I thought this just triggered on summon. No, it doesn't. It only triggers if it dies and then comes back. So stupid. There's a reason why in the list I made after this, I cut him. New card to the deck is Dark Magician Girl, the Magician's Apprentice. She is like Apprentice Illusion Magician and Nightmare Apprentice, where it's an inherent summon that you can do by discarding a card, and then on summon, she searches the sarcophagus. So you now have 2 ways to search the sarcophagus now, which is quite nice. Now, because Droll exists, I decided I want every card under the sun that I can have that will not lose to Droll. So what I did was, because it is Genesys, I noticed Shifter is at 10 points for some ungodly reason, and this deck doesn't really care about the graveyard. The only cards that really matter for the graveyard is Dark Magician Girl's attack gain effect and Turn Silence's graveyard effect. That's pretty much it. So, getting to turn off Droll, so worth it. And I can also play 3 copies of Called by the Grave. And then that just leaves me with 10 extra points. Cool, Typhon's 10, let's go. So, there's also this trap, but it's awful. I took it out because it's Mirror Force. If Mirror Force could also be activated if a monster effect would destroy something, and it Mirror Forces the opponent, no more attack position guys, but it doesn't do anything else besides that unless you have the Dark Magician. Which, like, the burn damage, whatever. The protection is like, man, I wish I could just kind of have that still, but oh well. So, I will just be upfront, this deck is not good. The only bit of tech I can say that I've put in this deck, that I don't know if it's standard or not, is you can use 7th Tachyon, and I guess 7th Ascension to search it, to give yourself more starters. It makes you lose even harder to Droll, but by using these, you now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, kind of 15, 16, 17 starters in your deck. You are going to draw one of them. The issue is, if your opponent has Droll, you lose on the spot. Like, you're already at a disadvantage because your interaction, even if you set up a good board going first, is a spell negate, a targeting negate, and maybe a monster negate that does it on resolution if you're lucky. It's kinda it. But whatever, I've wanted to play this, and it's super expensive in Master Duel for no good reason, so I wanted to play it here. Now, the side deck, I know vaguely that there's a lot of trap-based decks. I know Odeon is a very good deck, and I'm sure the moment I go against it, I'm going to be immediately begging Konami to point all of those things so high that no one can play them again. But, I mean, I'm going to do that for every card I see, so what's new? The side deck's nothing special. I just put 2 copies of Crow. I like playing Skullmeister. I know he's not good, but, like, I've known him from Duel Links, and I love him. And so I put him in. He's also free. Playing 3 Twin Twisters and 2 Typhoons for Spell Trap-based decks. The extra deck doesn't really matter for this version of it. I'm putting in Dark Magician of Destruction because you can actually summon Magician's Apprentice and search the Shining Sark, and then activate the Shining Sark. Just, you don't even have to use the effect, just activate it. Now you're allowed to go into Dark Magician of Destruction. And then on summon he adds you a card that mentions Dark Magician, so then you can use him to go into Dragoon. So you get a negate, but I didn't put that in, I just put in the other new card that is just a spell trap destruction during your opponent's turn. I don't really like this anyways. It's only good if you can start off your combo with the Magician's Apprentice, so I ended up taking it out. Other notable cards, I have 107 Galaxy Ice Tachyon Dragon as a target for 7 Tachyon to search Gandora. This surprisingly came up a lot. I got 104 Masquerade, which this is a target for so many things. So it is it's a rank 4, it's a light, and it's a spellcaster. 2 of those things, or actually all 3 of those things, let you search for Silent Magician 0. The fact that it's light and a rank 4 gives you Silent Swordsman 0. The fact that it's a spellcaster gives you Summoner Monk, which I'm playing because there's so many spells in this, and you really want to get your starters. And it also is Morgana, who I'll get to, is also a spellcaster, which she's good as well for what this kind of intends to do. I've got Sophiel for a non-destruction removal effect. I had the Phobos Kovos for a monster negate for say something that can't be destroyed by battle. Silent Honor Arc. Technically, you can use it as a bridge to something like a Mole Charmy, but I was just using it as, hey, it's a guy I can make that's non-destruction removal. 2 copies of Tornado Dragon for backrow decks. Castell for non-destruction removal. Giant Hand is a target for 7 Tachyon that gets you Gadget Trio. There's also Exciton Knight, which, funny enough, he's a monster effect, so he doesn't destroy Shining Sark. Steel Storm Roach, and then I put Rhapsody in Berserk because of the often used in competitive, I believe, effect to once per turn, detach material, and banish a card from your opponent's graveyard. Which, is it good? Not in the slightest, but hey, it's an extra deck way of banishing 2 cards. Who knows? It could come up. Now, onto the more suspicious card, Morgana the Witch of Eyes. On summon, she can give you a Morganite card. And then if your opponent declares an attack, you can banish a Morganite to negate it. And then if you've got 3 or more Morganites with different names that are in your grave or banished, you get to change the attack of all face-up monster opponent controls to 0. That's not a quick effect, it's a slow effect, so only use on your turn. Now, I'm playing her because if there's one issue this deck has, it's the fact you don't do quite literally anything. So you just need to be able to not die, but even then, you draw 1 card and it's like, kinda screwed. I wish I had more I could do. Well, with Time-Tearing Morganite, as long as you forego acting any monster effects in the hand, you now get 2 normal summons and draw 2 cards per turn. Now, if you do this, you're locked out of any hand traps, including the shifters, and you are locked out of Gandora and Dark Magician. But all the other cards... Oh, I guess, Marsh Malon is turned off too if you're playing him. So, all the other cards are fine. So, what I was doing in the match I played was going with this list for just going in. Then, going second, since I know I'm going first, just taking out the cards, I took out these, I think, and then this, and then I think I took out 1 copy of Zero Swordsman and 1 copy of Zero Magician, and then with those 6 replacement cards, boom, 3 Morgana and 3 Time Tearing. And then I think I also threw in more hand traps stupidly, because, yeah, I'm real genius. But I've done enough yapping. I'll actually show the game finally, and then I will show the updated version of the deck for anyone who cares. So, the opponent is not going first. I actually got to go first. And here's, already drawing this card, it does literally nothing for me. So it's like, cool, man, you're going back in the deck. So I use this, reveal Giant Hand to get Gadget Trio, and I put back this other 7th card. I should have just put back Gaze of Timaeus. I could have used the other 7th card to get another copy of 7th Tachyon for my next turn. So I used the gadget to grab the Sarcophagus. Sarcophagus effect. Grab Ties That Bind. Ties That Bind. Summon the Zero Swordsman and Zero Magician. And then I set the turn silence I drew. They draw a card, so she goes up a level. It goes standby phase, so he goes up a level. And they Dark Ruler me, so my spell negate and my targeting negate are gone. They go Jurak, new field spell, crazy card. Normal summon the baby. It's like, wow. I summon the direct stego, trigger the baby. I'm like, okay, I'll turn silence this and hope that it does something for me, because I'm like, maybe I can stop them from getting to Oviraptor if I don't let them do baby. Well, the card was destroyed, I believe. Or no, he just has a dino, so he gets to do Megalo. Megalo effect just discards 2 to draw 2, so he discards another field spell and another Dark Ruler. And she would have gone up even more, but she's negated, sadly. So he pops the Megalo, he gets to send a Misk. The fact that this sends any dino and not a Jurak kills me, man. Why do you just get to do that? And then, hey, cool, summon 4 dinguses from deck. No negated on their effects, by the way. Just synchro the 4 and the 1 tutor for a 5. Use that effect to get him back. I'm like, maybe they need this. I'll pitch this to Myas. They go Misk, and hey, would you look at that? It's over, Raptor. Game over. They get Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. They synchro the 5 and then 1 for this, which I'm assuming just gets played because it's a 6-star dinosaur synchro that can be used for like a link or for a synchro 12 or for an appease. They pop the other copy of Megalo to revive the baby. Then they drew into frickin' Xenometeorus. They get the Xenometeorus, pop the baby, summon Frostosaurus, baby effect, get Tyranno Infinity. Like, what? Then they make Jurak Asterio. Jurak Asterio effect on summon Set Impact, which is a board wipe. They then banish 2 for Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. They went battle phase. They didn't pop a monster, which meant, I mean, even they had to pop a monster to send all my stuff face down, and then go into battle phase with UCT and then send everything before damage calc, and then they just kill me there, but it doesn't matter, they're gonna kill me anyways. They detach target to get Misk back, and then they exceeds into Grenosaurus for some reason. Like, they had 2 dinos. I don't know why they didn't just make one of the Evolzars, but whatever. So I draw, and it's like, I can't beat the board wipe, because, well, this thing is immune to monster effect destruction. Sure ain't immune to frickin' trap destruction. And it's like, I can't deal with the UCT, because I need to use this to search for the Gandora. But if I search for Gandora, I can't search for turn silence, so I can't have a negate for the UCT. So it's just kind of over from here. The mandatory effect happens and they take the chance, and I'm like, yeah, this ain't happening. So on to game 2. And here's what I like to call winning because I drew Shifter. So look, I went first, draw phase Shifter. Cool, no more graveyard for you. Go immediate Morganite. And then Shining Sark is my starter. I got the trio. Normal the trio. Get ties. Summon. Set the turn silence. And then I just activate this now to thin the deck by a little and grab a 7 Tachyon. They draw. She gets bigger. Then he gets bigger. It took them like 6 minutes to activate a card, by the way. They go field spell. I'm like, okay. They summon Oviraptor, and I decide I'm not dealing with that. Too good of a card. So I increase the Silent Swordsman, and because I activated it in response to a monster effect, that monster effect is negated. They go field spell effect to destroy the Oviraptor to summon, and I say nope. So I negate that. So they just go battle phase and kill my Gadget Bro, which is fine. I draw 2 for turn. And this is what I was talking about. If I had just drawn 1, I'm still in a good situation because I have turn silence. So I drew the turn silence and I can search anything. Although I don't have like a Gandora, which wouldn't even be good here. So it's like I would just search another gadget, normal summon the gadget, search ties that bind. But just having the ability to have both of these already is so helpful because I can do what I'm about to do here. Standby phase, he gets bigger. I go ties that bind to get another copy of him and a copy of the gadget, and I search Future Silence. Remember that effect I said of both people have to draw 6 or draw until they have 6? It's coming up. I go Shining Sark for the DM girl. I pitch the 7 Tachyon for the DM girl to get another Sark. Then go Battle Phase, go 200 over, then go 1000 direct, 13 direct. I attack and on declaration activate Future Silence. I add, then I draw 3, they draw 2. Because they drew 2, that's 3k and then 35. Only cool thing I got to do. In this game I lost, and man was it close. So I would like to mention, I then re-sided out all of the Morganites, and I put back in the Gandora, and I put back in all the hand traps. So I had 2 Meister, 2 Crow, and 3 Shifter, and yeah, and I saw none of them. I don't really like running 3 of hand traps because I always end up drawing 2 because it seems like every shuffler hates me. But yeah, in this case, I put in like 8 hand traps that would help me a lot, and I saw none of them. And my opponent, well, Jurassic World, Normal the Baby, Dark Hole. He gets 2 babies effects plus Xenometeorus. There's the Oviraptor, there's the Stego, Oviraptor for the Mist. And now his dinos are protected, not like I can do anything. He summons another field spell because he can do it with different copies. The fact that Astero is not once per turn on any of these effects is crazy. The fact that because of this card, he gets to set up not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 board wipes that he pluses off of is insane. Like, holy cow, dude. We don't be needing all this, man. So he soul charges from deck, gets back to 4, goes into the 5, gets back to 4, goes into the 6, makes another 10, gets the field spell, activates it, pops his own guy to get another one of the 1s, and passes. So this board, if you don't know the field spell, if your opponent special summons a monster, and they activated monster effects 4 or more times this turn, summon, blow up the board. Cool. And then if Durex you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish a dino from your grave instead. So the first board wipe is free. Then we've got the trap, that's a board wipe. Then we've got the Astero in grave, that's a board wipe. And we've got the Astero on field, which when it goes to grave is another board wipe. It's also a summon negate. So I draw, of course I draw Silent Magician 0. It's so funny because you literally never want to see either of these cards in your hand. They are always the cards you want to get off ties that bind. So getting them in your hand sucks, because if they were anything else, you're probably better off. But you have to play them if you're playing this deck, which I'm just going to spoil it now. I don't think there's going to be another video on this deck. If I continue to play more Genesys, I will need something better. But regardless, I go activate this to grab the 7th Tachyon. And here I'm like, well, I can bait out some of the interaction. I go Tachyon for Gandora. I go activate Sarcophagus. They know to just blow up the board now, and they protect their guys. And now I go Gadget. Go Gadget, get another Sarcophagus. now I can go Gandora. In response to my Gandora, they chain their Astero, so they get to summon the Meteor. So then Astero happens, and I decide, cool, turn silence, negate. And now here's where I'm at a very difficult predicament. What do I do? Because I can, oh my gosh, I'm an idiot, am I really that dumb? Don't tell me I'm that dumb. I gotta see what I did. Okay, good. This thing can pay half your life points, destroy all other cards in the field, and if you destroy a card, banish it. And then he gets bigger for all the banished cards. Now the good thing is that this takes this out of the grave, so it's one less board wipe. And this gets to say, I summon off of the Shining Sarcophagus, or off his effect, the Silent Magician 0 for a spell negate, but he gets to trigger the freaking Megalo to send the third copy of Astero, which means he now has a board wipe again. If he didn't have the third copy of Astero, dude, I was sitting so pretty. I could summon Dark Magician Girl by pitching the 0, grab another Sarcophagus, and then, I've got so much damage on board. It's not enough to win, but it is a ton of damage. But instead, it's just board wipe, and then he gets a tuner that's big. So, I'm like, crap, that just, well, sucks for me. So, I summon her, get another Sarcophagus, and then I decided to go Typhon to bounce that back and attack for big damage. Honestly, I really shouldn't have. I should have just kept her and gone battle. Because she's just as big, and then she would keep my copy of Turn Silence on. Now, he's got this Misk Engrave from last turn, right? Let's see what happens. He gets another Overraptor. I hope so badly that you, and especially you, get repointed to be freaking stupid high. Like, enough to play the deck, but not enough to do it this many times. Because Dino is one I've been hearing a lot about. So he goes Overraptor for the UCT. He drew Petite Ranodon for turn. He gets to pop it for the Zeno Meteorus. Petite activates. I'm like, I'll just get rid of the Zeno. He summons a Tyranno Infinity, 12k. Now, thankfully, I don't think he remembered that Petite Pteranodon doesn't let it attack, and I learned that Petite Pteranodon doesn't let it attack. So he banishes 2, he goes Battle Phase, and he would have been able to kill me, but this doesn't let him attack with it. So main 2, he makes Logia. Now, again, let's say hypothetically, I had kept the DM girl. He would be allowed to activate Tyranno here, but he would have to activate the Tyranno, popping the Infinity, which then leaves him with Tyranno on board and Overraptor on board, and then nothing else in grave, I believe. So then he beats the DM girl, and I take 1,000, and then I take, what, 18? Yeah, so I take 28 that turn. I'm not dead. I just go down to, what, 1,200? So I go down to 1,200. But at least then I still have a Typhon access in my extra deck. And then I would only have to deal with UCT Pop, which I can deal with a UCT Pop, because my top deck is Gadget Trio. If all I had to deal with was a UCT Pop, I could have normal summoned the Gadget Trio and searched a card, but that could be a bit risky, so instead, all I had to do was just Shining Sarcophagus for turn silence, so then my Gadget Trio is safe. And then I don't gotta worry about that anymore. So then I can gadget trio for like ties that bind. And then I still have another copy of Silent Magician Zero, I believe. And then it's like, even if I don't, it doesn't have to be her. Like, just need to summon up to 2. So I get some more guys on board. Like, this game was so winnable, man. But now I can't really deal with... Here I search this in hopes that maybe I can activate it, but no, this is summon response window. It's like, well, GG's. And they win. Now, let's say you, after this almost 40 minutes of me yapping about Yu-Gi-Oh!, decided you too wanted to play this deck. I would say, do not play this abomination. It's awful. Play this abomination instead. Now, let's see what we have here. In the main deck, I have cut the trap, and I have replaced the DM with just a second Gandora. Also in that last part of the game, if I had another copy of Gandora, I kind of would have been okay, I think, because I can just search the Gandora off the Sarc, and hey, would you look at that, I can blow everything up. Like, either I can just go gadget, search the turn silence, and then I get to summon Gandora, and oh, just look at that, even if he tries to use CT, I can just negate that with the turn silence, and then I go Gandora effect. So, yeah. I also learned that a Pot of Extravagance. This card does not cost any points. Why? Just great, man. So the deck now has 3 Shifter in main and 3 DD Crow in main, because I'm tired of these freaking graveyard decks, man. And then I added another copy of a Morganite. This one is just a Morganite that gives it lets your monsters attack monsters twice, and then doubles the battle damage. But it's also, you can just activate it, and then you can banish it to add a Morganite, like the actual Morganite, and then just put a card back. Which means you can grab purple Morganite, or you can grab Morgana, because she's considered a Morganite, so then you get a summon of her. So then technically you can go like Morgana, search the time-tearing Morganite, and then activate that. When that happens, though, you take out the hand traps and replace them with Morgana and the Morganite, and you take out the Gandoras and you replace them with Succumbing Song, Morganite, and the Archfiend's Advent, which can be normal summon without tributing if you have this Shining Sarc. And then on summon, you get to target a monster your opponent controls and take it until the end of the turn, but you have to have the continuous fill when you activate it, if you want it to be able to attack. And then we just got 3 copies of the Turn Silence and Future Silence and the Continuous, 2 of the Ties That Bind, 3 Tachyon, the 7th Ascension. It's very risky playing the 7th Tachyons with the Extravagances, so that's why you run 3 of the cards you're using to search your stuff, just in the hopes that you don't banish every copy of your stuff. It will inevitably happen eventually, but, you know, here's to hoping. Yeah, so if you have any ideas for this, feel free to leave them in the comments. I don't think there's really anything you can do to make this better. Not from I've made it the best you could possibly do, like, way, but more because there's only so much duct tape you can put on something awful before you might as well not be using it anymore. But as always, thank you. Have a great day or night, and remember to drink some water.